Where is Bob Chesney going to be coaching in 2026? Because as of today, the 48-year-old head coach at James Madison is believed by many fans to be the next Curt Cignetti. Those are high expectations, but the man from Pennsylvania, starring at Dixon College, he started his career as a head coach. He started his head coaching career, at a Division III in Salve, Regina, then Division II at Assumption, and then went up to the FCS to Holy Cross and turned them into an FCS dynasty, winning 5 Patriot League titles in 6 years, 3-time Coach of the Year, and took over James Madison when Curt Cignetti left for Indiana, and immediately went 9-3, and then so far this season is 9-1, with the Dukes ranked number 21 in the AP poll and just 3 wins away from possibly getting into the college football playoffs as the Group of 5 representative. The man has never had a losing season as a head coach, ever. 128-51 career record. That's a guy who knows how to build, develop, and win. And this is a channel that you should know how to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for us. Yeah, I did that. We're trying to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the season. So help us make it happen in the next few weeks. We bring a ton of content like this. If you enjoy college football, especially with a Big Ten lean, from kind of a Big Ten standpoint, you're going to enjoy this channel. Okay. So back to Bob Chesney. After James Franklin, just yesterday, you're probably watching this the next day, just yesterday went to Virginia Tech, Chesney's 3 options look the most like either staying at James Madison, holding out for Penn State, or taking the UCLA job. There is always the possibility of an SEC job popping up too. Obviously, that kind of stuff could happen, but as nothing really feels off the table right now in this coaching carousel, his representatives have quietly let the industry know he's only seriously considering UCLA, Virginia Tech, and Penn State. And with one of those chairs just yesterday now disappeared, with Virginia Tech hiring James Franklin. So if Chesney does move on, it looks like it's Penn State or UCLA, or he could hold out for longer, possibly, be okay with running it back in James Madison. But if he's going to move on right now, it looks like either Penn State or UCLA. But let's be honest about Penn State first, okay? Yes, he grew up 100 miles away from State College. Yes, it would be a come home kind of narrative moment that would kind of write itself in this situation. Yes, the budget, the facilities, the tradition, it's one of the best top 10 jobs, I would say, in college football right now. Yes, he has the Curt Cignetti comparisons, but look, look at where he actually sits on their list, because Penn State has 3 Power 4 names ahead of him at the very least, as Chris and I reported that last week. And even with Mike Elko getting his extension, those 3 ahead of him look like, of course, the long shot and Kalen DeBoer, Eli Drinkwitz, and Brent Key. And there's a few non-head coaching options that are in front of him too, right? Brian Hartline being one of those. So they're not necessarily calling Bob Chesney with the offer today. I know that Clashkey site has him pretty high up there right now, or at least they did a few days ago. But unless a bunch of guys start getting extensions, I wouldn't think of Chesney as a real contender for this Penn State job just yet. Maybe later on down the road, but just yet, I don't think he's a real contender yet. So they're calling him only if it's 4 or 5 Power 4 coaches who turn him down, and they would likely need to wait until Christmas to make this hire if Chesney's team does go to the playoffs. Maybe they make the hire, but he wouldn't be able to be there until that time. So this would kind of be a bit of a desperation move for Penn State, not a proactive one in my opinion. It's hard to say Bob Chesney's a desperation move because he's a really good coach, but he's never once in his life taken a job that is kind of desperate for somebody. And again, I don't know if desperate's necessarily the right word, but that's kind of got him as one of their last choices, so not really desperate, but just somebody who's going in on one of their last choices. So the school that does sound like it is for him, it sounds like, is UCLA. Everything coming out of Westwood, the message board, Rick Neuheisel was on CBS just yesterday talking about all this stuff, and the rumors is the same. Bob Chesney is not just on the list, he's at the top of the list. He has already had at least one long, substantive conversation with Martin Jarman from reports and what they say, and the search committee as well. They love the track record of who he is. They love the player development. They love that he's the exact kind of hungry, younger, proven program builder they need after a Deshaun Foster type of experience. A guy who has been multiple different places, knows how to come in, and has proven every time he goes up, he's able to go in and win and be a consistent program there. So according to reports, UCLA has the money ready to hire the right guy at any point in time. And unlike Penn State, UCLA doesn't need to wait for 4 or 5 guys to say no before Chesney's name is next. They're ready for the offer and can offer big the moment the season ends. Chesney has yet to sign an extension with James Madison and has been very polite and non-committal to the public, which is exactly what you do when you're 9-1 and trying to make the playoffs. Chesney's a top 2 option, in my opinion, for UCLA right now for taking a program that has, I mean, honestly, if UCLA lives up to who they can be, this is a program that has unlimited potential if they go fully into committing, if they're able to kind of fix their administrative stuff behind the scenes. They could go full commitment and have unlimited potential. Like it's been reported, and honestly, they plan to, like it's been reported. So if James Madison finishes 11-1 and wins the Sun Belt, they are probably going to the playoffs, which might complicate things a little bit. If not, I can see UCLA extending the offer to Chesney right away after the season stops. Maybe offer something like $6 million, $6.5 million. If they do, I can see Chesney accept that offer before we even get deep into December or anything like that. Maybe if he goes to the playoffs, they have a secret accepted offer or something like that behind the scenes. Who knows? Because at this point, the exposure is maxed out and the risk of waiting for a late Penn State call just wouldn't seem to be worth it when you have UCLA right there. Penn State would have to move much faster and much more aggressively than anything they've shown so far. And they still haven't gotten a single yes from the guys at the top of their board, which is fine. You don't need a yes right now. It's still in the middle of the season. But I truly believe that Bob Chesney is very likely to be the next head coach at UCLA. Am I positive? No, I can't really, be totally positive about anything. This is one of the craziest coaching carousels we've seen in a long time. But people weren't even positive about James Franklin going to Virginia Tech. It was like, yeah, we think he's going there, but he could also be flirting with Florida. He could also be flirting with Arkansas, whatever it might be. I don't know if he was ever mentioned for Arkansas, but, Florida State, he could be waiting out for that one. But I do believe Chesney is one of, if not the number one choice for UCLA. I think he is right up there with Eric Morris is another name from North Texas. I don't personally think that would go very well, but to each their own. Alex Golish from South Florida is up there, and then Sean Lewis from San Diego State is kind of up there too. You got a couple other guys like Jed Fish and stuff like that, but doesn't seem as likely. So ultimately, the mutual interest seems to be there. It would be a good job for Chesney to get into the Big Ten and give him a good opportunity to advance his career. But what do you think? Do you think that they would, UCLA would be the right place? Do you think Chesney would be a good hire for UCLA? Should UCLA do it? Should Penn State value Chesney more and go after him before some of these other guys? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you all listening. Have a good one. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.